Following the underwhelming feeling of Adventure 01 and a bump up in potential power for some decks with Adventure 02, today's video explores two series with a combination of Digimon Tamers and Digimon Frontier. In total, between the Beelzemon and Lucemon cards, there are only 9 cards to review. But what are some of these cards honestly missing? Lucemon generally feels like you're handing too much memory and sitting on a body in hopes that it doesn't get deleted, bounced, or removed. And Beelzemon feels like it's too much RNG. With the restriction of EX2 impmon, accelerating to your win condition got mildly harder, but it's still honestly possible. To that end though, let's look at what new support cards Beelzemon and Lucemon get before diving into my overall thoughts. With impmon, this 4-cost level 3 purple Digimon has a sort of main phase effect that trashes the top 2 cards of your deck. Holy crap. Move aside BT3 impmon, I don't need you dying anymore. Simultaneously, when this card is trashed from the deck, you may delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Holy crap, this is a really good impmon! I can now accelerate my game plan without having to attack, and also get benefits from it being trashed. Beelzemon is eating well. The inheritable for this card is a simple your turn DP buff of plus 1000 DP for every 10 cards in trash. Add 40 cards, that's an extra 4000 DP on swing. Nice. Wizardmon return is interesting. While this Digimon could have gone with Adventure 01 as a pseudo-villain, the effects for this card, and baalmon for that matter, put it more in line with the canon Beelzemon line. This Digimon can digivolve from any level 3 with the evil trait, and while impmon is just one example of an evil Digimon, Devimon also works as well. On play and when digivolving, by trashing your top security card, you trash the top 2 cards of your deck and all your opponent's Digimon get minus 3000 DP for the turn. However, when this card is trashed from the hand or security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets security attack minus 1 until their turn ends. If DIGI-PANDA does start making some competitive waves, this will be a great way to wipe the board clean of tokens. The inheritable for this Digimon is simply Barrier, so at the expense of a security card, your Digimon won't be deleted in battle. With baalmon, this Digimon digivolves from any level 4 with Wizard in its traits. Even a Goonimon? On play and when digivolving, trash the top 3 cards of your deck. Then if you have 5 or more cards in your trash, this Digimon gains blocker and reboot until your opponent's turn ends. On deletion, if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, you may play one Beelzemon from your trash without paying the cost. And like impmon, the same inheritable. One thing that I absolutely love about this baalmon is that it takes elements from the first baalmon of having that on deletion effect regardless. The starter deck one is good, don't get me wrong, but its condition of playing Beelzemon only the turn it's digivolved into is kind of buns. And considering the consistency of Beelzemon decks can be Brick City, this is why being able to slam this and potentially have its effect active already, or being able to play a Beelzemon, is just icing on the cake. With the newest Beelzemon, this Digimon is another Blast Evo variant of a villain Digimon that can even blast over impmon if you have 20 or more cards in the trash. This is huge. While during a Blast Evo you don't pay the cost, the fact that you could promote up, and trash, then Evo into it directly is another surprise element. On play, when digivolving and when attacking, you trash the top 2 cards of your deck. Then delete one of your opponent's play cost 6 or lower Digimon. However, for every 10 cards in your trash, you add 3 to the maximum play cost. Ideally, at 20 cards you're already going to delete most level 6s, and only a handful of 7s can actually survive the deletion attempt unless you have 40 cards in trash. Did I also mention this effect is not once per turn? That's potentially 2 removals there if you can keep turn. Additionally, on play and when digivolving, if you have 10 or more cards in your trash, by returning 2 non-Digi-Egg cards from your trash to the top of the deck, you de-digivolve 2 on one of your opponent's Digimon. Remember how EX2 impmon could only be used once? Now with this you can recycle it to the top, then use the when digivolving effect to trash the top 2 cards. Neat interaction, right? With Tamers support, this is some stellar support for Beelzemon decks. Will it make it competitive though, remains to be seen. It's not overly aggressive like the starter deck variant, and it leans more into the EX6 variant which you can control your opponent's board with the de-digivolve. Honestly, this Blast Evo variant feels like a combination of EX2 and EX6, a happy median of de-digivolving and deleting. But now what about Frontier? Moving to Frontier, we're going to check out some of the new cards with Lucemon. With cupimon, this new level 2 has a your turn once per turn effect, where when any of your Digimon with Lucemon in their names move from the breeding area, by trashing 1 card in your hand, you draw 1 and gain 1 memory. I could always use more memory with this deck. With Lucemon, this Digimon digivolves from Cupimon for 5 memory. Still better than Lucemon's first appearance from BT4, and consistent with its newer printings. This Digimon has Blocker, an inheritable blocker, but adds something new. From the breeding, when digivolving, this Digimon may move. Remember a baalmon core? A similar mechanic here. End of your turn once this Digimon has moved out of the breeding area by returning 5 cards with Lucemon in their text from your trash to the bottom of the deck. This Digimon may digivolve into Lucemon Chaos Mode in the trash without paying the cost. As long as you get to 6 cards in the trash, all of which have at least the Lucemon in their text and a Chaos Mode, by turn 2, you might be golden. This is arguably one of the fastest ways to climb into Lucemon Chaos Mode end of turn, whether it be turn 3 or 4. But what are the benefits of this? The newest Lucemon Chaos Mode has a when digivolving and when attacking effect that is not once per turn. By trashing 1 card in your hand, your opponent may delete one of their Digimon or Tamers. If this effect didn't delete, you recover 1. Potentially 2 recoveries if you can somehow keep turn. It's totally worth it. Also, all turns once per turn when this Digimon would leave the battle area, your opponent may delete one of their Digimon or Tamers. If this effect didn't delete, it doesn't leave. That's kind of rough considering if it's a 1v1 me bro moment, the attacking Digimon would likely have to delete itself to get rid of Lucemon Chaos Mode. Luckily, most decks these days run an excess of Tamers to sacrifice, and this card is only a rare. That is insane to me. As for defeating Lucemon Chaos Mode, you get to meet his next form, Lucemon Satan Mode. This new variant digivolves for 6 from any purple level 6 Digimon or Lucemon Chaos Mode explicitly for a cost of 6. On play and when digivolving, by placing 1 Lucemon Larva Mode from your trash to the breeding area without paying cost, you delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the highest level. Big yikes. Unfortunately, the only variant of Chaos Mode that plays out Satan Mode is the EX6 variant, which, let's be real, could be getting even more expensive. When digivolving and when attacking, once per turn your opponent may delete one of their Digimon or Tamers. If this effect didn't delete, you trash your opponent's top security card, and this Digimon unsuspends. Yo, that is actually really hype. Setting up crazy scenarios in which your opponent better delete something, or else you get to trash the security and unsuspend, that's some awesome power. But the last and final card for this set review video is the option card Paradise Lost. This option card can have its color requirements ignored if you have a Digimon with Lucemon in its name in play. For 2 memory, and requiring purple and yellow outside of that Lucemon rule, what does this option do? Trash end of your turn if you have a Digimon with Lucemon in its name. By returning this card to the bottom of the deck, you trash your top security card, and one of your Digimon attacks without suspending. Holy crap! Lucemon just got even better. You're telling me that if you have Cupimon in the back, and Lucemon is digivolved into, you'd move Lucemon out, use Cupimon's effect to draw 1 and trash 1 after you trash a card with Lucemon in its text, and then end of turn, your Lucemon can attack without suspending, meaning it doubles as a blocker. But considering you could also be climbing into Chaos Mode, this means you could be attacking with something even bigger. But its main effect is simply a until your opponent's turn ends. One of your Digimon with Lucemon in its name gains Raid, Piercing, Blocker, and a DP buff of plus 3000 DP. And when it's hit in security, you get to play Lucemon from your trash without paying the cost. Hilariously, there's one other option card that could be used in the up-and-coming EX10 meta, and Genai's house with this deck honestly sounds hilarious. While Adventure felt slow, and Adventure 02 started picking up some momentum, I am definitely very satisfied with the support cards that Tamers and Frontier got. Did you think anything was missing? Or overall, do you share my thoughts and feelings on this particular video? Let me know your thoughts, because tomorrow I dive into everything Data Squad related, along with some Liberator cards. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.